Ah, jeez. Spilling things everywhere. All right. That's a good way to start out a live video. Ah,
Spilling things everywhere.
yeah.
We are live.
All right. What up,
Got a late
Jay?
start today, but we had some stuff to do.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's drink some tea and talk.
Okay, we should
I
do
don't think we
that.
have anything like super urgent. We didn't have an interview scheduled today,
That's true. And I did have an interview scheduled actually,
just
but
not for tea time.
just not in tea time. I had to be in an interview.
Oh, yeah. Who was interviewing you?
Um, Navy Pier, Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is cool because I was like, oh, I wonder if this will be cool and how many people will see it. And then I looked, and Navy Pier Chicago has 65,000 followers.
Couple. It's a couple.
That's a couple.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, and we had like people stayed in for like a half an hour into an Instagram video, and like we're interacting. I did 3 different songs from the new album.
The new album is Buggin', by the way, from Q Brothers,
Yeah.
the band group collective. It's a family friendly hip hop album, so safe for kids but enjoyable for adults.
Yeah. So I
Um,
did I did Lemonade, I did Micropachycephalosaurus, and I did all 5 verses of Avocado by myself.
wow, wow, that's a lot.
It's especially a lot because I didn't write 4 of those verses, and it's not like it comes easy to you when like it
Yeah,
does when you
to
wrote it.
spit someone else's verse.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing, but
Well, congratulations. So take a load off, my friend.
whew, I'm gonna take a
You have
load
some
off with
you have
some
some tea.
rosemary tea.
Well, at least I can tell we have at least mom and dad with us, so 2 people
Nice.
are watching. It's good. Um, and our brother G is on a plane, wrapped
Like
up
fully
in.
hazmated up.
He looks like he's going, in a
He
in a.
looks like he's like half hazmat, half ninja.
Yeah, he's like a ninja epidemiologist right now.
Yeah.
And
Which is
he's
kind of
on.
what we all have to be right now.
I think it's pretty much true. Good call.
This smells amazing.
Yeah, I just had my first sip, second sip actually. But yes,
Mm. All right. Are you drinking the bags as well? Or did you do it loose?
I did it loose. I put a pinch of. So we're drinking rosemary tea today, by the way. Just straight up rosemary leaves, if you want to call them that. Although they look almost like pine
They're,
needles
they're
when they're
needles.
dry.
Yeah, they're needles.
Yeah.
Mary Josephine is drinking Earl Grey like yesterday. You
Yeah.
guys are creating a tea monster. I haven't even had coffee in a few days. Nice.
Nice. I can't say the same thing. I start my morning off with some coffee, but uh, as I always say, tea is the height of my day. This is what everything is built around my couple cups of tea now. It used to be 1 cup in the afternoon. Now I do the lunchtime tea with you guys, and I do my afternoon tea. Um, that's my energy boost to get me into the evening. So
Nice.
yeah. Anyway, welcome. Nice to have you, an anonymous on YouTube. Nice to see you back. Assuming you're the same anonymous as is often anonymous.
There's an anonymous number of anonymouses.
Yeah,
So
Mary Josephine, we do sell rose. So we have I it's got to be I haven't counted up recently, but
hundreds.
over 100, between 100 and 200 different herbs that we sell in the apothecary that can be made into tea. So we just grabbed our rosemary leaves, which you can find on the site.
I did bags. I want to show you actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Because um, these
Oh yeah,
it's organic, certified organic rosemary tea from Buddha Tea. Look at this beautiful package.
I know the packaging on those are gorgeous.
They're just like what a lovely tea box. I'm definitely going to use the box when it's done, you know.
Yeah,
It would
I
be
did.
great.
You
It
can
would be
see.
great to like put in my drawer and put like cords or paper clips in it or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, here is if you want to see, it looks kind of like I threw pine needles in there, although it obviously tastes of rosemary.
Yeah, if you look in the bag, maybe you can see here too. It looks like kind of like fennel
Just
seed.
see, it's not high. There you go. It's doing a lot of spinning, but yeah, it looks nice.
The we wanted to talk about the fact that if you were looking for an herbal tea, some people are like, "Oh, I didn't get to the store," or "You're not going to the store as often right now." Well, you might, a good option for you is to raid your spice cabinet. There are lots of, and we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, like a few different, we call them kitchen herb teas. You know, rosemary, according to, we talk about Gundry a lot because we're both on the plant paradox diet, but
Mhm.
he is like, he believes that that is one of the most important things to take in your diet. And he believes that, when you're talking about the diets and you're looking at the true marker for what a good diet is you start to get into these blue zones, right? Where the average lifespan is incredibly long. And and then you look at them and people will often say like, well, it's because in Loma Linda, in California, it's because they're vegetarian and vegan. And you're like, well, that could be true, but there's a place in Africa where it's very large and they're not and they eat meat, and then you're talking about a place there's two in the Mediterranean, which is what spurred the Mediterranean diet.
Mhm.
And but there's really, what's the commonality between them? And he really says that it's about a lower red meat, and lower animal protein in general, and then high amounts of good fats, tons of olive oil, fish oil, and he really believes that the reason the Mediterranean diet, despite being very high in certain inflammatory grains, the reason that it is negligible compared to other diets or other typical diets around the world is because the insane amount of olive oil and rosemary.
Cool.
And so, people would say like, "Oh, no, you have to eat couscous. It's part of the Mediterranean diet." And he's saying, "No, the Mediterranean diet works despite the
Yeah,
couscous."
yeah.
It's because, and so he's recommending, and we do almost this, but not quite, a liter of olive oil a week.
Wow.
We try and do about that much. So between salad dressing and just like anytime I make eggs, I just pour a couple tablespoons of olive oil on my after.
So not heating them up and
No, I cook
everything
them
all.
with coconut or avocado and then just pour the raw olive oil on after.
Cool.
Especially on like an omelet, there's nothing better. When you go to a restaurant, they always drizzle like a really fancy olive oil over the omelet, and you're like, why don't I do this at home?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
But yeah, a lot of good uses for rosemary. Rosemary's antioxidant, antimicrobial. You see, actually, we were talking to Bob Root yesterday, and he was talking about how you see in all the natural products they add rosemary. If you look in all deodorants, it's an antimicrobial, but it also keeps the product itself from spoiling.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
it's,
often used as a preservative.
yeah.
Yeah. So anonymous, you said a couple things. You talk about rosemary, great for the kidneys before sleeping, a nootropic, and good for hair. It's also good for respiratory issues. So you kind of your next question was supplements, herb supplements that might work for someone on a ventilator from COVID. I don't feel qualified to talk about ventilators and what would if someone's in a bad position there. I would say obviously you need to really work with a doctor to figure it out. And I don't think we're qualified to say what's a safe. But if you want to talk about great respiratory herbs in general to support a healthy respiratory system, rosemary would be among them, oregano,
IV and thyme are like,
ivy and thyme, plantain.
we
These
have
are
a really
things.
good we have a really good blend from Bioforce. What is it called now? Bioforce called? Is it called Bioforce?
Yeah, still Fogel.
Fogel called Broncosan, which is English ivy and thyme, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And that's helped me when I've had asthmatic situations in the past where there was constricted breathing. So that's about as much as we want to probably say about it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, no, just talking about respiratory support in general. Tannenblut is a product that we love. It's a syrup that is a pine syrup from Germany that has as one of its key ingredients plantain, and I really think the plantain makes a difference. There's a reason why a lot of the European customers we have will only they don't want anything else other than Tannenblut, and whether they know it or not, I think it's the addition of plantain that is part of that
Yeah.
feeling that like, no, this one really
Well,
works.
you also see the same kind of cultish following for Olbas, and Olbas actually has a little more of that essential oil opening taste and also has plantain as well.
Yeah,
The other thing that we do, I mean, if you're just looking for a tea, if somebody wants a tea to support whatever else they're doing,
yeah,
then I definitely would feel comfortable adding a tea to drink. There's no harm in that. And our cough and bronchial tea, and you can get our bulk plantain. And if you just put a pinch of each, they're amazing together.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a great cough and bronchial tea, and we do sell plantain. Um, Mary Josephine, you're talking about herbal medicine. Yeah, I'm so excited you like learning about it. Honestly, I feel like I'm a beginner in this too. It's just I'm surrounded by so much of it that I get to learn things, and Jay definitely knows more than I do about the herb side of things. You mentioned that you're going to try 30 days vegan to see how you feel. You may not be meat free forever, but you'd like to eat mostly plants and whole grains. The thing I'd throw out there to you is kind of what Jay said, which is before you say whole grains, do some reading about grains, and I'd look at the Gundry diet, Stephen Gundry's diet, and a few other things about grains that you might consider a vegan diet that uses maybe a few unusual grains like
Millet and
millet,
sorghum.
amaranth. Is that one of them?
Sorghum
No, no,
and millet.
sorghum and millet.
You want
Uh,
to look basically at if you're going to do the grains, which I do a small amount of. Really look at the ones that are not high in lectin. So if you're looking, the ones that are naturally lectin free are millet, which is bird seed. It is delicious. You will love millet. It cooks in 15 minutes. It's fluffy and amazing. And you can use the leftovers. You add a little water and nuke it, or you can make these like millet cakes out of it. They're incredible.
hey,
Millet.
Trace.
Sorghum is sort of like couscous. It's almost identical to couscous. And so it's a pure substitute in that direction. And then, the one thing I would say is like whole grain sounds like it's better for you because it's less manipulated or processed. But the fact is, that's the bread that they would give the back in the day. The kings and queens would eat the refined flour bread, and they would give the peasant bread was the whole grain bread, and that's because it's actually disruptive and causes a lot of gas and inflammation. The actually grinding the bread up and refining the flour
Removing the husks of the grain.
makes it much more tolerable on your system. You're going to see it actually spike your blood sugar less than whole grain. So white bread will spike your blood sugar less than whole wheat bread. I know that sounds crazy. It's totally true.
Yeah, I've tested it because I do. I have a blood sugar monitor, so I've tried that. The other thing, Mary Josephine, I'm not saying you're not gluten sensitive because maybe you have been tested, but gluten is actually one of the lectins that we're talking about. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, what they say is they realize they're sensitive to this, but they attribute it to gluten in only rather than all of these lectins that are part of grains. And for many people, what they don't realize is that they're actually more sensitive to some of the other ones than they are to gluten.
Mm.
So when they start doing gluten-free everything, they end up getting a lot of these other lectins that are inflammatory proteins. And so they're avoiding one, but at the expense of actually causing more inflammation or just as much.
Yeah.
So
The other thing to think about also is that your load of other lectins is really light when you're doing wheat and corn and typical ones that you're going to cut out, right? But then when you go gluten free, which I did for 3 years, Mary Jo, I did 3 years of of gluten free, and I felt great for the first year and a half. And then the second year and a half, I ended up more inflamed because
Yeah.
the other lectins are actually more inflammatory. So for the first year and a half, my body was so happy not to be inundated with wheat and stuff, and I was cooking things more just without grains at all. And then as all these gluten-free foods emerged, and there was all these other things for me to eat that were brown rice and corn based and everything, my load of those lectins became huge, and all my problems flared up again.
Yeah, I remember you were having a rough time for a while there.
Yeah, I got really sick actually, like
Yeah.
very sick. Like I thought something very bad was wrong. And before I had deep testing done, I switched to this diet and I feel like 100 zillion times better. The other thing to think about, Mary Josephine, you don't have to completely give up bread. Fermented foods are okay and pressure cooked foods are okay. So if you're looking for beans, get the Eden brand beans. They're already pressure cooked. They don't advertise it, but they're already pressure cooked. And the other thing is use your Instant Pot or a pressure cooker if you have one. If you don't have one and you're going to go vegan, please get one.
Yeah, that's right.
Because then you can have rice. Then you can make your oatmeal in that. You can do that and you're going to feel a lot more of the benefits of eliminating wheat and all the typical lectins that we're used to. The other thing is sourdough in small doses is great for you.
Yeah.
Basmati rice in small doses is great for you.
Those are, if you're going to do those are the ones that you do. And that's the reason why a lot of people, I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of people talk about when they go to Europe and they eat the bread there and like, oh, I went to France and I ate bread, or Italy and I ate bread. And I didn't have any problems. Whereas when you're back in the States, you do. I mean, obviously, some of that is the vacation mindset, and you're walking around a city or a town all day long, and walking can do great things for helping digest grains and things. But it's actually the fermented dough and the starter, that's in sourdough that and great bread that is baked that you can't eat past the day that it was baked is probably the best bread for you, because that is, like when they're putting all this other stuff in there so that how can you have bread that's sliced and then sits on a shelf for a week and doesn't get any mold or doesn't get anything like that? That's crazy to me. And so I think that part of that is,
And delicious.
yeah, yeah. You're saying it is delicious
I
to have
mean,
sliced bread?
I was just looking at like brioche rolls my kids were eating the other day, and I was like, oh, I want one.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when you get this sliced bread that's already pre-sliced and it's like going to sit
Stop.
for a week on a shelf, it doesn't make sense. It should either harden up or if it's not moist, it would get mold on it.
No doubt.
Otherwise, they're doing something to it. But
But all fermented foods too, in general. So like you want to go, and that soy is not necessarily good. So you want to get like hemp tofu is a good substitution if you're going to do vegan. Please stick with the hemp tofu. You're also I did vegan for 2 years. You made fun of me for ruthlessly for how long? 2 years, T?
yeah, just to be clear, I don't make fun of vegans. I just like to make fun of
Just
vegans.
me. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no, just
you're
me.
my brother, so I
Yeah.
just like teasing people.
So those are
That,
some of the things that I learned. Hemp tofu, fermented foods are very important. Make sure you're getting tons of coconut milk and coconut oil because it's really hard to get that full feeling of saturated fat without coconut and avocado. Cook with avocado oil and coconut oil. Drizzle with olive oil, like we were saying earlier. Those are, I guess, our tips.
yeah,
The if you're going vegetarian and not vegan, then definitely eggs. I see Anonymous is talking about eggs are definitely good. Yeah, but pasture raised, again, we talk about that all the time.
yeah,
Organic free range doesn't mean as much as pasture raised. If you can find a local farm that does pasture raised eggs, even better. Yes, Asians eat white rice because brown
yeah.
upsets your stomach. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the same thing. The brown rice has the husk still on the grain, and that's where a lot of the irritating proteins are contained. So white
Lectins are
polished
either,
rice.
yeah, they're either in the seed and the skin or the hull, right? Like the lectins.
Do you cook with jackfruit, Jay?
I have.
I don't know
Yeah,
that I have.
I have. Yeah, I have cooked with jackfruit. It is a pretty incredible and like it's an amazing like you know very malleable piece of food. Like it's incredible how meat like they can make this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. I'm also looking at Therese saying, my mom always bought Wonder Bread and remember saying, I wonder how they call it bread. Yes.
Yeah, jackfruit's okay. You want to look like the fruits in general, so make sure that
Do
the
you remember
sugar.
Wonder Bread was made on Diversey up until like 10 years ago? I used
Yeah,
to live right around the corner from that distribution center factory.
and you could
Uh,
smell when they were making it.
yeah.
You were like, it
Mm,
smells like very little effort for a
yes.
school lunch.
Yeah. Smells
Uh,
like bread with all the good, without all the good aromas. Yeah. Um, anyway, so Jay,
I don't know. That was kind of a tangent, but I think it's like really important. You're gonna see great effects. The best diet in the world is a lectin-free vegan diet. You will live to be over 100. You'll be like in the best shape of anyone you know, and you'll look 10, 15 years younger than anyone your age if you can do it. If you can do a high-fat vegan lectin-free diet, you win.
yeah, guaranteed by JQ. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Money, old back guarantee. I'll give you your old back if you're not satisfied.
Therese, you're getting eggs straight from a tiny family farm. I think that's the way to go.
Yep.
That's the whole idea of the pastured eggs. But if you're close enough to a farm that you can get it from a farmer where you know there are real
And
hens and chickens wandering around a yard, eating bugs and grains and all the
whatever they can
things that are
find.
around,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the way to go.
And the, the best the best thing you can tell, you can try check it out. Next time if you let's say if anyone out there goes to Whole Foods for their eggs, right? If you have to, get the 365 brand pastured eggs and then buy like one of the brands that cost $2 more. And then crack them against the corner of the bowl. And if you, I swear, if you tap the 365 brand one against the corner of the bowl, it'll be like, it like falls out, it spills, there's shells in there. And the ones you get from like the ones I get from like Michigan, like these local ones, I have to like hit it 4 times as hard as I can, and like the membrane is actually so strong because those chickens are eating what they're supposed to eat to be super healthy. You can really tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the yolk being super orange is but you usually see that, but that's not necessarily true. You're right. More, I was about to say what you're saying there.
Which is what? Repeat it for people who
Which
don't know.
it can be yellow, deep yellow or deep orange. It doesn't necessarily. It can that can be due to how their feed is being supplemented and various ways to fake the orange yolk essentially. So
That's
that's not the
when you've
only.
got a great egg that has a super orange yolk. Sometimes when I'm at the end of 2 cartons and you drop them in together, and one is sort of more watery and yellow, and other one is like big and sort of viscous and orange.
Yeah.
You feel like, man, I want the orange one. You
The
know,
best thing is like my bodega, like the one down the block. I go there now for eggs because they get this farm in Michigan to give them pasture raised eggs, and they're the same price as the 365 ones because there's less middlemen there. And so I
I
feel
bought
like
the same
I'm.
ones. They're good.
What's up?
I bought the same ones. They're really good.
Yeah, they're really good. And here, if I can find the picture, I'll show it to you. This is what I had in the last one that I cooked. If I can find it. Here, look at this. This is the walnut bread from Gundry's cookbook. Mary Josephine, pay attention. You're gonna want to get that book and make that bread because it's the best. But look at the eggs.
Mm, nice double yolk
I got a
there.
twinsy.
Do you remember that picture I posted where I was making a 3 egg omelet, and I did 3 eggs and
You
all of
had
them were
6 yolks.
twins. I had 6 yolks and 3 eggs. It was like a 4-leaf clover for me. It was amazing.
I mean, that's like ideal. That's actually like the ratio you want of your
Yeah, I was like a
double the
superhero
yolks.
that day.
Anyway, The it's my daughter who is 4 years old today.
Yeah, this has been like a month of celebrating your kids' birthdays on
No,
time.
yeah, not like it is. That's what May is.
Okay. Yes, it's true.
Every year it's gonna be that way, buddy.
I'm good with it. I'm coming. I'm swinging by your place tonight to drop off a gift for Corey.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I can't wait. Fran joined. Frizzle, what's
What's
up?
up?
How you doing, Fran?
Yeah, so Cora turned 4 today. She just came by the window and waved to me and and your daughter was trailing her and she had a blonde and Cora had a blonde wig on. So I don't know what's going on, but I think they're working on some sort of final class project for JJ's drama class.
Yeah, well, she told me. Nola told me that if JJ doesn't do his drama project, he doesn't pass kindergarten. Which that's some high pressure for a kindergartner there. So Nola's like, I have to help JJ because otherwise, and she was saying it tongue in cheek, but she's like, otherwise he doesn't pass kindergarten, you know?
But that's
Uh,
that might be my fault, but
yeah, yeah. No, she's making fun of it, but still, I like the idea of high pressure kindergarten finals, you know?
Curious how much you guys pay for farm eggs. $4.99 for a dozen.
Yeah, we're in Chicago. I don't know where you are, Anonymous, but this is, in sort of a,
The fancy ones that I would say are the equivalent at Whole Foods are the Vital Farms and the Blue Sky, and those are $5.99 and $6.99. So I feel like the one at my bodega is a really good deal, $4.99 for a dozen.
yeah, because they're the best eggs that I've found at that price.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
country that would probably be super expensive depending on where you are. I don't know. I'm sure there's Chicago taxes and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, but this little girl turned 4 today, and she is such like at this. She is deep in the struggle of being 4, man. She is like, it is like my ability to communicate is exploding, and my limitations are so frustrating.
Yeah.
And she cannot express herself quick enough, and it's like causing her such a deep frustration. I know that feeling and I've seen it with my other kids.
Yeah, but she's gonna be fine, dude.
Oh, I
She
know. I'm
she's
just saying like
her
that's the
frustrations
moment she's
are
in. That's the
her
moment.
frustrations are because she's trying to keep up with her older brother. And so she's already sort of like catapulted beyond where she'd be if she were an oldest kid. So she'll be all right. It just you'll never notice because she's a middle kid. So you just will all ignore her anyway. So
Who are we talking about again?
yeah, I don't know. That what's her name again? The middle kid you have? But
I don't do
yeah,
I have a middle
yeah,
kid?
yeah. But I mean, you're gonna mess her up, but it won't be in that way. It'll be because she's a middle
That's
kid and she
reassuring.
forgot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Cytokine storms. There's an article I will find. I posted. I think we posted it when we first started doing these teas about cytokine storms. I think it came from Bulletproof blog, but it was just. I'll tell you the things that I remember from it. A lot of the things we've been talking about. Rosemary was among them.
mhm.
So we're drinking rosemary today. Turmeric, um, astragalus, I believe, as a sort of adaptogenic herb. So your whole thing is it's like cytokine storm. You're sort of getting in this inflammatory cascade where you kind of spiral out of control. So the idea is you don't want to weaken the immune system, but you want to stop this you want to bring yourself back into balance where you're not overreactive to things that cause inflammation.
Right. So adaptogens are the best for that I mean, obviously mushroom complex is huge for this, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people, and you've dealt with even with Rachel with the autoimmune issues that she has had in the past, that were pretty severe in the past. And there's only certain things you can do. I mean, this is why you're always preaching fish oil, fish oil, fish oil,
Yeah.
is part of that. Fish oil mushroom complex is like so important. If you I think that is the one. That's the article.
What's up? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the one. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. This one from Dave Asprey from Bulletproof. He gives some great one. Andrographis. That's actually what I was thinking about. Andrographis paniculata is a great herb. So I mean, is a great. Yeah, it's an herb, but it's that has a really good IL-6 inhibition effect, which kind of calms down the inflammatory process. And then in
Well,
herbs, he talks about sage, oregano, and bay leaf. Just feeding your gut bacteria. So that's the probiotics, prebiotics, so resistant starches. So inulin would be great, guar gum, acacia gum, all those things. And then grass-fed butter.
look, there's a other. If you're looking for just a food base, and I'm gonna go back to Mary Josephine because I'm thinking of all these amazing vegan foods you can have now. Other good resistant starches. Then I've been making this salad from green bananas, green mango. So you have to get them when they're not ripe. So it lowers the sugar and it increases the amount of resistant starch in there. And so green bananas, green mangoes, and it sounds like that would be like starchy and sour, but squeeze some lime juice over it and then cut in little pieces of jicama. And it gives you this
Give it a
crunch.
crunch, yeah.
Oh, and all three of those are amazing starches that are great for you.
Dude, you need to drop some of that off for me. I want that.
That's like like the like fruit salsa that you put on like fish tacos. Like that's what I've been doing instead, and it's
Ooh,
so good.
ooh, wow.
Speaking of which, your fish share box is here in the freezer, so,
Cool.
and it's
Yeah, we get fish share. We get Sitka, what is the company we've been using?
Sitka salmon shares.
Sitka salmon shares to get some fresh from Alaska fish, which is awesome. I have to say, we're like overloaded with fish right now, and it feels good. You know?
This entire box is sable fish with just black cod.
Oh, black cod is fatty and
I
delicious,
can't wait.
and
So
it's
I'm gonna try.
that may be my favorite fish
I know
that there
that's why I
is.
was excited to tell you. But I'm gonna do uh I'm gonna try poaching fish. I haven't done it like an oil poach,
Oh yeah, Rachel's done that before. I haven't, but she's poached fish, and it
especially for that kind of fish. It's like buttery, oily
yeah,
goodness.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
excited because like the worst
Um,
thing when you spend that much money on a good piece of fish is like a dry. You like have this dry piece of fish. You're like, please, I just want it to be.
yeah. Well, the thing about black cod is it's so oily that you'd have to like intentionally work to try and dry it out,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
still don't know that you'd be successful.
yeah. True.
Um, hey, Jay, I need to run because we started late today, and I have
Yeah.
a call coming up that I need to do for work. But I do want to say, so we're drinking rosemary tea today.
By
Um,
the way, I have not slept well the past 4 nights. I have a daughter that's going through some sleeping issues, and last night I had a work session that had me up till between 1 and 2,
hmm,
and and I feel pretty good. This rosemary tea feels
it
awesome.
does. I have to say, it feels nice.
It's
I had
very
the opposite.
uplifting. It's very uplifting, and I'm getting like a really soothing, cool sensation in my esophagus.
I don't always love too much rosemary, so I was like, how's it going to be to just brew up a big wad of rosemary? And it's great, you know?
This is we keep coming back to this. I don't want to take too much longer. I know you got to go, but the dilute effect of teas. There's something so the powerful and gentle. Like I think we need to like find. We need to keep remembering this powerful and gentle.
Sort of
And
like the combination of us, powerful and gentle, right?
yeah, um, it's like our grandfather we were talking about the other
No,
day,
it's true. It
and it's
is.
like a theme that I want to keep exploring with you. Is powerful and gentle. It's homeopathy. It's Joe Portenlanger, and it's rosemary tea. All right.
All three of the Joe Portlanders,
All four,
all
right?
four of them. I don't know. Little Joey, he'll grow into his gentleness. He's a wild child in a good way. I like that kid. um, anyway, uh, I want to give a couple shout outs. First of all, if you joined us today, thank you for joining us. TQJQ, Tea Time with the Apothecary. We love hanging with you. tomorrow we are bringing Dana back, talk about what's going on in the store, and we're going to be talking Father's Day. We picked out some like cool Father's Day gifts for every kind of father. And as a dad, as two dads here, nice. As two dads here, you got to say, you got to show the dads in your life some love. It doesn't matter if it's your dad, your brother, your friend, your husband, whatever, your partner, it doesn't matter. Show them some love. So come join us for our Father's Day special tomorrow. And then on Friday, I'm really excited. We have my friend Dimitri of Demo's Pizza, well-known here in Chicago, well-known actually around the country with all the cool things he's been doing. So we're going to talk a little pizza, which is not something I eat a lot of, so that'll be interesting, but I do love me some pizza and I miss it. We're going to talk some pizza. We're going to talk about retail life, restaurant life in the time of COVID, business ownership, being innovative and keeping a business alive. And he's just a really high energy, fascinating guy. So I'm excited to have him on board and just a well-known guy around Chicago.
And we will be drinking, I think, our grandmother's old school chai on Friday.
I know. Make sure you deliver to him. He's so excited about that. I talked to him today.
What are we drinking on tomorrow? Do you know?
I don't. It's probably on the list, but I don't know. But it'll be something good.
Yeah, but I just want to let people know in case they want to join us. Let me just pull it up real quick. Okay, we're doing hibiscus iced tea.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm very excited about that.
We better make like 50 cups because I'm just gonna chug it all day.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just deliver me a pitcher, I'd really appreciate it. Because it will be gone by 3 in the afternoon. So anyway, I want to show off my shirt. I found my old MERS shirt. So tomorrow, join us. We're talking Father's Day gifts. As a local business, we'd love to have you use us to help make your Father's Day very special. And whatever you do, thanks for supporting us. All right. We look forward to drinking some tea with you tomorrow. All right.
Thanks so much. Happy birthday to Cora.
Happy birthday, Coco Loco.